Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Taiwo.
Good
So
afternoon.
nice to have you here.
You're welcome.
I would like to ask you some of the questions some students would like to know about, and I'm sure you're ready to give answers to those questions.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
First and foremost, I'll start by asking you to can you give us a general overview of IELTS?
IELTS is International English Language Testing System. IELTS as an exam is one of the CELTS exam. CELTS means Secured English Language Test. So in the category of this exam, there are other exams like PTE, TOEFL, Duolingo, UKVI exam. So all these exams are known as yardsticks for measuring proficiency in English language in the United Kingdom and Europe generally. So there is a common European framework of reference for grading people's proficiency as far as English is concerned. So one of those English tests is IELTS, and IELTS is the most applicable and the most common of these examinations.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, as a student, how do I know the type of IELTS I should take?
Now, there are different forms of height, about 4 to 5 forms of height, but it starts from your purpose. What do you want to use the exam to achieve? Some people say, okay, yeah, I want to work, I want to study. Which one would allow me to work and study at the same time? No, there's none like that. It's about what is your primary means of traveling. Are you traveling for the sole purpose of admission? If it's admission, then it's academics, height academics. If it is work or migration, then to be general. So this is across the board. However, if you are a doctor, a nurse, medical lab scientist, a pharmacist, and you want to write the exam for professional registration, then you are going to do the high standard, like also called the high academics. However, you need to be careful of the dichotomy between the high standard and the UKVI height. Schools in the UKVI sometimes specifically ask candidates to do the UKVI examination. So you need to check with the school if they are specifically requesting you to do UKVI. And schools that do this are always undergraduate schools like UCAS. If you are applying through UCAS now for undergraduate study in the United Kingdom, chances are that you would have to do the UKVI height. And the UKVI height is only found in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, but you can book it with Grace Educonsult for any part of the country that you are booking it.
Thank you so much,
You're
sir.
welcome.
Okay, with a prior knowledge that this exam is a test of writing, listening, speaking, and reading,
Yeah.
me as someone that went to a university that was taught using English,
Yeah.
can I not just go and do this exam because I can read, I can write, I can speak and listen? Can I just go for it?
Yeah. It's possible. You can just go and write the exam as an average Nigerian graduate and pass. But at the same time, it's also important that you go through the coaching, the classes, so that you would understand the requirements for marking the exam. Because as far as IELTS is concerned, there's no pass, there's no fail. It's about your requirements. So if your requirement is 8, for example, now, or 7, for example, now, if you are doing Canada PR, the express entry requirements like listening 8, reading, writing, speaking 777, listening 8, reading, writing, speaking 77 for express entry requirements. For such a requirement like that, you want to ensure that you have a very high band score in your results. So for such, you would need to. It's very important. It's advisable that you sit down for the coaching, that you'll be able to understand what you should do to achieve those band score.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, how do I calculate my scores when it comes to reading, writing after going through training?
Now, if you train with Grace Edu Consult, we teach you according to the British Council standard, and we are always intentional to expose you to the band requirement, to the marking guide. So, if you are going for a 7 for reading or listening, for example, a 7 band starts from 30 for listening, 30 for reading, 30 over 40 for academics. But if you are doing general training for Canada, migration, PR, and the likes, your reading is a bit different. Your reading mark for band 7 starts from 34/40. So that means you can even go online and download the public version of the height marking guide or the height band description. It will give you the download of the different scores and the band score. But across the board, a 30/40 is 7 for academics, 32 7.5, and it goes on like that till 40. 40 is band 9.0.
Thank you so much for
You're
that.
welcome.
So, in case I've gone through the training
Yeah.
and what are the things I need to know in preparing for the exam?
And for preparing for the exam, you need to ensure that you have your international passport up to date. It must have been uploaded while you are doing registration, and you must go to the examination hall with that same international passport, not the photocopy, but the hard copy of it. So if you have crossed your eyes, your T's and dot your I's, all you need for that exam day is just your international passport. And since the exam is now CBT now, it's good that you have also have access to your British Premium, and you've been practicing on that premium site or on other free websites over and over before sitting for the exam.
Okay, thank you. I would
Welcome.
also like to know, uh, after taking the exam, in case anyone does not meet up to one of the module, the
Okay.
required band score for a particular module, is there something like a skill retake?
It's possible for you to do one skill retake. Let's take for example now, you had your score for listening, reading, writing, but for speaking you had below your score. You could just go and retake just speaking alone, and that has to be done within a month plus of your initial test date. So you must retake this exam again. When you retake this exam, a new test result will be issued to you showing that would that speaking had been retake, and it will be updated to your entire results. However, it's not all institutions that require IELTS that accept one skill retake. So before you take any one skill retake, you must check with the institutions. Do they accept one skill retake? For example, Canada PR does not accept one skill retake. Nursing licensing body, doctors licensing body, pharmacist licensing body, medical laboratories and science licensing bodies do not accept one skill retake. So if you are a nurse, one skill retake cannot work for you. Instead, you will be thinking of taking the whole of the module again.
Okay. Okay. Is there a general pass mark for IELTS?
No, there's no general partner. It's about the requirement. It's about what the body, what you want to use it for, or what the institution is asking you to get. But across the board, if you are going for undergraduate, 5.5 or 6 is common for most universities. If you are going for master, 6 or 6.5 is common for most universities. But if you are going for, let's say, professional qualification or for migration, then you talk about 7 points or 8 points.
Okay. Uh, is is there anything like, okay, a module is harder than another?
Mm, mm, maybe yes, maybe yes, but just for simplification's sake, people believe that the reading module is harder than the writing, listening, and speaking. Yeah, so the reading is a bit more technical and logical. However, in terms of exam score, people have failed the writing more than even the reading. So that means writing is the most failed when you look at statistics globally, but reading is the hardest. Then, when it comes to the simplest, the speaking is the simplest and is the most passed of all the modules, followed by listening, then reading, then finally writing. So that means as students should pay keen attention on their reading and writing.
Thank you very much for that, sir.
Yes.
So to wrap up, can you give advice or things to take note of for students preparing for this exam?
Yeah. Yes. I'm gonna do that. So then it's also good that I also had this tweet that there's a chance for you to remark your exam. So aside from the one skill retake option, you could remark. So that means if I feel that my speaking should be 7 and I was given 6.5, it's possible for me to challenge my results and ask the exam body to remark that particular module. And most times, when you challenge your results, it either comes back the same way or it increases. So if you are very sure of yourself, confident of yourself, then you can remark your speaking or your writing, but you cannot remark listening reading. If you do, you waste your money, because listening reading have definite scores across the board globally. It's the same. It's either this or this. It's either A or B, because your answers are either filling the gap or multiple choice questions. So the answers are fixed. But for speaking and writing, the answers are subjective. They are marked by humans. So because of that, scores could vary. So you could challenge your speaking and writing and pay token. Then if your result increases, your remark fee will be sent back to you. But if your scores remain the same, then that means you have lost the money for the mark. But this is my final homily for anybody taking IELTS. If you're taking IELTS, don't see the exam as a do or die. Don't see it as a do or fail. Don't see it as a necessary evil. See it as a journey to reinvent yourself. See it as a journey to becoming your best version. See it as what you can do, and don't accept that because some people have been feeling it online, there's noise about them, you must feel it. No, other people's experiences do not have to be your own reality. You can define your own reality by your own effort, by your own intentionality. So that means if you are preparing for IELTS, focus on developing yourself academically, mentally, emotionally. For example, now for the speaking module, now it's not just about let me just have 6, let me just have 7. No, it's about how do I become an excellent communicator before the exam. So when you focus on being an excellent communicator, passing the speaking module with 7 or 8 will come easily. When you focus on say, okay, I want to be an excellent writer, I want to be able to write in a very ingenious and creative way. Not just that I want to be a content creator, but I want to be able to write powerfully to touch people's hearts. You would be intentional at working on yourself in writing. So having 7 or 7.5 in your writing IELTS module now will just be a byproduct of your effort that is aimed at working on your own self. The same thing goes for reading, listening. You want to be intentional with things like reading novels, reading literatures. As you work on those aspects of your life, you are reading, you are exposing yourself to different content, educational content. A new you would emerge, and when a new you emerges, passing the exam becomes just a reward to that. So the focus is not just about let me just pass and go. No, the focus should be how do I bring out my best? How do I use this journey towards height to transform myself to a better version of me? That's why we at Creative Education we do not encourage examination malpractice. We frown at it. We know that excellence is possible, and we have seen it in our Hall of Fame. Our Hall of Fame is being displayed to you now. You have seen different students passing the exam amazingly, both young, both old, both adult across different ages and walks of life. Passing the exam at the sitting is possible, but you need to determine that. You need to choose that success is possible. And I tell you, success is possible when preparation meets opportunities.
Thank you so much, Mr.
You're
Taiwo. Thank you
welcome.
for your time. Thank you
You're
for the
welcome. You're
explanations.
welcome.
You can just drop a thank you on the comment section. And also, if you have any other question that was not answered in this session, please drop it in the comment section. We remain Grace Edu Consult. You can share, like, and comment. Thank you.